Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Khizr Hayat. I am the CTO of RateBasket, and today I'm going to present a case study regarding real estate, in particular, maintenance costs in real estate, and how to find actionable insights from our through using our software. Now, just to get started, this is all dummy data. None of this is data from any real organization. But for the sake of it, we'll assume that this organization makes $15 million a year. They own 12 buildings in 5 different locations in Texas. And they want to find out how they can optimize their maintenance cost as well as make sure that they have enough parts to cover all their maintenance requests per month or per year, depending on how you look at it. So we have some data. We have the apartment number, floor number, location, address, all data regarding this particular apartment or property management company. And we want to figure out how to optimize their costs and their supply chain and identify bottlenecks in their processes. So I'll show you really quickly how our system can cut down what would normally take 6 to 12 months into a few short minutes. So without further ado, let's get started. So we have this data in an Excel format, and as our system can directly read Excel sheets or any database, we just plug it in. And we get some basic statistics. Total number of apartments, 300, as I said. Average duration of stay, this is in months, it's 36.39. Total number of maintenance service requests and average monthly maintenance cost. So initially we want to see a high-level picture, right? And so we broke it down to total number of requests per building. As I said, there's about 12 buildings, and the requests are pretty much evenly spread out. There's a little bit of a difference, maybe 20 here and there, but overall, it's pretty much consistent across the entire spectrum. So what we can conclude there is that the likelihood is pretty similar, that there's going to be some maintenance request in each building, so we should staff accordingly. Now, looking at it a little bit deeper, and here's where our expertise will come in. And just to start off, I have no expertise in real estate and property management before starting this project. And there's a lot you can learn just through pure data. So we plotted the maintenance cost per month by building and floor numbers. And as you can see, quarter number 1, the maintenance costs they're all pretty spread out. Now, what's interesting is that in quarter 2, on average, the maintenance costs seem to go down. I mean, some 3 buildings in particular, the cost went high up, but all the other 9 buildings, they went lower than the average. So there's an insight we can derive from here. What happened in Q2 to these 3, where the cost went up compared to all these other 9? And then again, in Q3, all the numbers seem to go up again, apart from these 3 buildings, or these 2 in particular. In Q3, they actually go down. So this could indicate some sort of a management change that took place here. Maybe managers were moved from this part to this part, so that's why there was some problems here that these 9 buildings went up. Let's go into it a little bit deeper to take a month-by-month scenario. And as you can see, we have averages, upper and lower percentile. Basically, what these mean are that 95% of your points are going to lie within these 2 bounds. And the smaller the bound, the more predictable, the better your system is, because you can manage your costs better. So this is where the Six Sigma aspect comes in, where we actually highlight the extremely high variation in your current system. So we can see that there's a few outliers, especially in April. There's almost 3 outliers, 1 on the positive end and 2 on the negative end. So maybe we want to look into April. I mean, what went on in April with these 2 buildings, which are building 10, building number 6, and building number 9. Maybe we can learn something from building number 9, because it seems like building 9 had an upward trend, and then suddenly there was another dip. Again, this highlights there's something that went wrong, maybe with management, maybe the weather in property management. Maybe there was a flood that caused these to skyrocket this high. And in this case, maybe you had better management that caused your cost to go that low. So again, now we can drill down even deeper, and these are your floor numbers. And really, there's a whole lot of variation, so you can analyze node by node and see how the costs have been. But these are pretty much, it's hard to tell what's going on. There's a few outliers here, especially for this building, which is building number 8. It actually seems to fluctuate the most. So it seems to have the highest variation depending on the floor. So now we can kind of see, maybe we want to focus on building number 8 and these floors. Why are there's such anomalistic maintenance costs on these floors? And these are, again, more average maintenance cost numbers, but again, there's some insights over there. We can look into this deeper and figure out what exactly is going on here. And again, building number 9 has some outliers as well on the higher side, so we might want to look at these floors. But then some buildings, like, let's say building this one, which is building number 11, it's more or less consistent. So maybe we know that we can learn something from here and try to reduce the variation in other buildings at the same time. And then you have your average monthly maintenance costs, which seem very, very similar across the spectrum. Now we can go building by building to see maybe some buildings have outliers, but it seems like more or less they're all consistent. So the likelihood of each of these events to occur are pretty similar. Building 7 is a little bit higher on fumigation, but based on the scale, it's nothing too much to worry about. Again, I go over each one. Okay, so now we've learned quite a bit from these particular visuals, and we have some insights that we can take action on to highlight the outliers and try to figure out what's going on there. And we also know that the monthly maintenance costs are pretty much evenly spread out across each of the factors, so we need to staff accordingly. Now let's move on to the next page. So this is actually very interesting, and this is a very interesting insight at the same time. So you have your age bin, and you can kind of see that 65 to 69 years of age, there's very few people. There's only 59 apartments that are occupied by these sort of people. So this one is a bit more spread out. And what you can also see is the average tickets per month by service request are pretty much even. But now let's see how they're divided by the age type. So 55 to 59, again, they're even. 45, even again. Here, there's a little bit more on the faucet and toilet, but it's not enough. 60, still similar. 25, 50. Aha. So you see how when people between the ages of 50 and 59 actually put in more tickets on average per month compared to all the others we've seen so far. That's something interesting. This gives us a decent prediction model as well. And it's not going to be super powerful because we don't have enough data points, but we can assume that between the ages of 50 and 54, people who sign up for our apartments are going to request more maintenance. And we can look into it deeper. Why exactly are these people putting in so many more tickets? And let's see what's happening with 65. Very interesting. So now AC is above most of the other ones, which means that either there's air conditioning issues in the apartments occupied by people between 65 and 69, or they're just more sensitive. And people who are younger, slightly younger, aren't really asking for air conditioning issues, or they can live with a few minor problems. And 20, again, it's a higher number. So maybe people in their early 20s, they're college kids, they damage their equipment more. Same with mid-30s. Now this is kind of interesting why people in the mid-30s, and I don't have an explanation at this point, but it's something to look into deeper. Now one really, really interesting point is the tickets per month on average. For age 65, they're the lowest. but the average maintenance cost per month is really high. Now what that means is for someone who's between 65 and 69 years of age, even though the total maintenance cost for them is lower compared to the other ones, their average cost is really high. So the cost per ticket is pretty high, which means that they probably are putting in less tickets, but the actual work required is a lot more. So it ends up costing you more. So this is an insight that can be derived from this data, where you can focus on staffing individuals when you have more people in a building that are between 65 and 69, because you can predict that there's going to be a lot more work when they put in a ticket. And again, this does not cover the deeper prediction model, which I'll come up with later on, and that this is just more of a teaser for you. But there are some very, very unique insights that can be derived just from random data. And now let's look at it a little bit further. So what this tells us is the tenant age and the type of service request are not really correlated that highly. You can't really tell what sort of service request is most common. I mean, there are a few points here and there, but overall it's pretty well spread out. So again, for staffing purposes, we need expertise in all of these pretty much evenly. And then from a square footage perspective, the square foot of the building doesn't really matter, or the square foot of the apartment, I apologize, does not affect the service requested. So here we can derive some insights and even make some predictions based on just pure statistical numbers. Now we have a good idea of the type of war services that are going to be requested. So we have a pretty decent idea of what our expected value is going to be for each type of service request per month. And let's say we have some data of the quantity used. Let's say we have data regarding faucet quantity used per month. And I'm sorry, this is a little bit outside of your view, but these are the months, and this is a quantity of faucets used per month. We want to figure out if we have been stocking the right amount of faucets. I don't have data of how many were on back order, or how short we were, or how much the average duration was, or the lead time, but this is just a simple analysis. But I wanted to show you how effective the Rig Basket platform can be, just to find out how your optimal stocking level. So let's go to the Rig Basket platform, and let's pick faucet data, incorporate external information, and then go to faucet quantity. So you know your inventory is in control, but there are ways to further reduce your variation. And here, well, actually so let's use your numbers. And these numbers are taken from here, which is based purely on your historical data. And I already put these in. And then the average cost, let's say, is $300. And let's see what happens if we reduce our variation. So our variation is pretty good. It's not that high, but if we reduce it from 2 to 1, let's see what exactly happens. And let's see how much money we can save and what our optimal stocking level is, just purely based on our data, so that we never run out. Ideal stocking level 9. You can save $588 by reducing variance to 1. And then an additional carrying cost as well, which includes storage costs based on all our research. Now this is a very, very simple analysis, but very powerful. And in most businesses, especially the small and medium businesses, this sort of analysis takes months, if not years. And I've only taken 14 minutes of your time. I hope you enjoyed that analysis, and I would love to answer any questions. Please check out our website, www.rigbasket.com, or simply email us. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.